We're here at our location's Alpine Schwinn. We're in Idaho Falls, Idaho, and we're here with Jim. And I always mess your last name up. Do I say it Rutberg?
Rutberg.
Rutberg. Okay, Jim Rutberg, and we're doing a live webinar. And so there's going to be people. We're recording all this so that people can learn about basic cycling, clear to advanced techniques in cycling. Jim's an expert with Carmichael Training Center, and you want to give a brief introduction to yourself, Jim?
Sure.
Great.
I've been a coach at Carmichael Training Systems for 10 years. Started with Chris. He founded the company in 2000. And I'm also the editorial director, so Chris and I have co-authored 6 books together and a variety of magazine columns and website content, streaming web video, DVDs, etc. Over the course of time. So yeah, it's been an interesting 10 years.
That's an amazing 10 years. And I've done some research on you on the web, and what an amazing athlete you are.
Maybe at one time in my youth, but not anymore. Now I'm just an athlete.
We love the beard too, by the way. It looks great on you.
Thank you.
All right, so the first question I have for you tonight was probably the same question that I asked you the other day. And that was, if you had $10,000 to spend on a bike, clothing, or whatever, you're a beginner rider, how would you take that $10,000 and spend it? Would you just buy the top of the line bike so you could go out and ride? What would you do with it?
With $10,000, the first $3,000 of it, honestly, would go towards a power meter. And my personal preference is an SRM. You can also go sort of, about a $1,500 to $1,000 range is going to be one of the power meters. That is going to be from the standpoint of what's going to move you forward fastest in terms of progress and fitness. Attaching a power meter to any bike is going to be a worthwhile investment. When it comes to the actual bike, one of the things that especially from a beginner standpoint, mid-range bike I think is a good place to start because it gives you room in your budget to get all of the other stuff. And cycling is a very gear-intensive sport, and there really is some benefit to getting decent gear. A helmet that fits well. All of the helmets are going to protect your head. A helmet that fits well and is well ventilated is going to make your rides more comfortable. High quality shorts. Bib shorts, when I was racing a lot, were a third of the price that they are now. Now it's a pretty hefty investment to get 3 to 5 pairs of shorts, which are what a cyclist who's training on a regular basis is going to need that much gear. So I would advise folks to get a solid bike, get a bike that is probably is a good medium range bike for your budget, and I'd spend in the beginning a higher proportion of the budget on some really nice gear, because it's the gear that's going to make those first 2 years of cycling more enjoyable, which means you're more likely to end up being a 20-year cyclist.
Okay, so let's talk about the power meter really quick, just a little bit. When you're talking power meters and it being really critical, what is it exactly? I'm not exactly, but kind of tell me what you're looking for there from a beginner standpoint. That sounds great, but I'm not quite sure I understand all the things I should be looking for when I'm looking at that.
And I should add as a caveat that we've been power meters are definitely very worthwhile, but it's also a big investment, and it can be an intimidating investment because they are so expensive. People have been training and winning races and doing a lot of, gaining a great deal of fitness without ever using power. So it's not something that, if you can't invest in a power meter, you might as well find another sport. It's, one of those things where if it's in the budget, it's a great thing to have. If it's not, you can certainly be a very good cyclist without one. What it provides is a real-time and direct measure of work. So heart rate is what a lot of folks use, and the heart rate works very well. But heart rate is actually it's an indirect measure. You're observing the response that your body has to producing work. Power meter will actually tell you at the time that it's being the work is being done that you're producing X number of watts and X number of kilojoules. From that standpoint, it's the most accurate measure of workload that we have, and really that any of the endurance sports has. Runners can't get the same kind of information. Swimmers really can't get the same kind of information. So it helps from a coaching standpoint. It really helps us to figure out what an athlete's doing and how it's impacting their fitness.
And does Carmichael have a actual program you should follow with that power meter to be able to increase and stuff like that?
We have, and just as other groups do, we utilize a field test to determine your current baseline of fitness, and then we use the power data and or heart rate data from your field test to establish training ranges that address basic aerobic conditioning, power or pacing at lactate threshold, and then power at VO2 max or higher levels of exertion. So yeah, we use those training ranges to prescribe all of the actual interval workouts that we send people out to do, and then we retest them every 8 to 10 weeks usually to reset those numbers so that you're constantly progressing.